What you are about to hear is a rebroadcast of the show on June 11th, 2014 of Read New Attitude Action Now. That stands for Apply Concrete Thoughts to Ignite Your Optimism, No Opportunity Wasted. We have the distinct honor and pleasure of introducing a personal friend, but also a wonderful mentor to so many people around the world. We love the fact that he is a motivator, an innovator, and sometimes even an agitator when it comes to the status quo. But it is our pleasure for Read New Attitude to introduce our guest presenter, Dr. Willie Jolley, the leading expert in attitude and achievement. Dr. Jolley has been called the most powerful speaker, singer, and author combination in the world today. Dr. Jolley was named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by Toastmasters International. Only 50 speakers worldwide have been given that honor. Former winners include Colin Powell, Nelson Mandela, and Margaret Thatcher. Dr. Jolley speaks to organizations around the globe, from Australia to Japan, South Africa to Jamaica, and California to Connecticut. Dr. Jolley has developed a reputation for helping people do more, be more, and achieve more. He has authored several best-selling books, including It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life, A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback, Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks, and An Attitude of Excellence. You can hear Dr. Willie Jolley several times a week on Sirius XM satellite radio with the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show. He is often seen on PBS and is a frequent guest speaker on the Hour of Power, which is broadcast globally. Dr. Jolley's goal is to help you grow and exceed your goals. Let's get ready for the Willie Jolley experience.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard the introduction of our featured guest for Daddy Issues, Where Have All the Fathers Gone? And he's going to be talking about the topic, When Daddy's Hope Gets Hijacked. You've already known that he's a father, a grandfather, an international speaker, and just an all-around fun guy. And, of course, he's going to be able to shout out some of the things that he's doing toward the end of the call. But we're going to throw it at Dr. Willie Jolley. Are you out there today?
I am here, and I'm grateful to be on the air with the two of you. You're two of my favorite people in the world.
Next to your mom and them.
Thank you. Next to mom and them. That's right. Next to mom and them and cousin Lulu. Anyway, God bless y'all, and glad to be on the air with you.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm just going to let the men talk. And he says he hardly has a chance to get a word edgewise in with me, but since this is the father series that we're doing for June for New Attitude Action Now, we're just going to let you all chit-chat for a minute. So take it away, man.
Well, Willie, this being the month that everybody thinks men deserve to have a day, and they celebrate Father's Day, we know that Father's Day is important every day of the year. But it's just so great to have you on the call today to be able to share with others the importance of being a father, and the topic about when Daddy's hope really gets hijacked.
Yes.
So we just want some feedback from you.
Well, let me first say to everybody who is listening, greetings. Most people who know me know that I always start every interview, every speech, every program, every message I give with a little poem that's from my book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. And it simply says, I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but an eternity is in it. So greetings to everybody who might hear this around the world. Now, I am, for those who don't know me, my name is Dr. Willie Jolley. Many people know me as Willie Jolley, but last year I'm very grateful that I earned my doctorate degree from the California Graduate School of Theology, and I was able to not only be the person who got that degree that day, but also be the person who gave the commencement address to the graduates, including myself. And let me tell you, I gave myself a good talking to that day. Anyway, for those who know me, I'm the author of the book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. The book, A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback. The book turns setbacks into greenbacks. The book, An Attitude of Excellence. And I'm the featured contributor in the book, Chicken Soup for the Christian Soul, #2. I'm also the host of the Willie Jolley Show on Sirius XM Radio on Channel 141 every Saturday at 4 o'clock, and on PBS and CBS television with the Live Better with Willie Jolley segments. And lastly, I'm honored that I was inducted in the Speaker Hall of Fame a few years ago and named one of the top 5 speakers in the world by Toastmasters. So I'm grateful for being able to make a living speaking, writing books, doing television and radio, and trying to empower and inspire and encourage people to literally live their best lives and overcome the challenges that life throws at them. I'm most proud of being a husband who has been married for almost 30 years, and we have 2 children and 2 grandchildren. And so I'm very grateful for that. You know, I was speaking at an event recently, and a friend of mine said something. He was a very popular minister, and he said to me, he said, "Brother Jolley, you've inspired me. How I saw one day you were written up in the paper. We had won the Father of the Year award from one of the local organizations." And he said, "That's the kind of life I want to live." He said, so he had an opportunity that came upon him where he was invited to do 42, I think, marriage retreat weekends, he and his wife, because they built a great marriage. And he told the gentleman who invited him and recruited him, he said, "I appreciate the invitation, but I can't take it because I still got school-age children. And I had made a decision based on the input from people I am empowered by and I respect. I made the decision that I would rather not be the greatest business person, but I'd rather be known as the greatest father." And I think that's one of the things that those who are serious about fathering will make that commitment. We have in our community and communities across America a epidemic of fathers who make the children but don't do the work to take and raise the children. And I believe that that's not just hurting the child, but it's also hurting the father, because he's missing out on the blessings of being a father. Now, is it work? Yes. Is it challenging? Yes. Is it difficult? Yes. But it's a blessing. And so I want to encourage all those who are listening to realize that fatherhood is not much just being a creator of a child, but it's a developer and a person who raises that child to be what they be. In this message, though, understand, and many people know I wrote the book Setback, Set Up for a Comeback, and in that book it talks about the fact that you start down a path, and sometimes you have big goals and dreams, things that you want to achieve, and life throws you a curveball. You have a setback. It's distracting. It's discouraging, and many times it can throw you completely off track and get you derailed from that path. And that happens in parenting as well. I tell people often that I've had a lot of jobs in my life. When I was in college, I was worked in a warehouse, and when I was in graduate school, I worked moving videotapes in a television, hot, musty television factory kind of studio. And then I've worked with, I had a newspaper route when I was a kid. I had to get up in the middle of the night to serve newspapers in cold and wet and rain. I've worked in the school system as a substitute teacher when I first started. Then I started working in the school as a drug prevention coordinator, talking to little kids about staying away from drugs, going all over the area doing that. And so I've had a job as a jazz singer. I had a lot of jobs. I give you all that to say some of them were really demanding, but the most challenging job I've ever had was being a parent. Because these little things don't come with a instruction book. They don't come with, hey, if you do this every time, it's going to get the same response or result. You have to raise them, and you have to be creative in doing it. And sometimes in the process of raising it, your goals and your dreams hijacked. And by that I mean that your children don't do what you have planned for them to do. They have another agenda. And I was talking to a parent just yesterday, and he was talking about his two daughters. He says one's easy, and one, no matter what I do, she wants to do the opposite. I said, I've been there, brother. I have been there. I have two children. One, my son, easy, no problems. I tell him to jump. He say, how high? I say, stop. He say, yes, sir. But my daughter, my baby girl, Lord have mercy. I say, stop. She go. She stop. I say, go left. She go right. I say, go right. She go left. She has been a challenge, just what it is. She's been a challenge all her life, and it's been a challenge, but we have maintained. She's grown now. She has her own family, and now she understands parenting, and she says often, Dad, I'm so sorry. All the hell I gave you because I now understand what it is like being a parent. So you want to have those moments, but what you have to do is you have to make a commitment that you're in for the long haul. And that the first thing is that you make a commitment that you want to be a good parent. That means you're not making a commitment to be a good friend. You're making a good parent. See, but until their age, I call them adult age, you've got to parent them, and now you'll have to parent them afterwards. But after that, the relationship changes. When they get to adulthood, 21 years old, then you can't usually make them do anything. Then you're their best advisor, and hopefully they will take your advice. But below 21, then you have to be their parent, and that means there are going to be times when you're not going to be their friend. They're not going to like you. They're not going to like you. Going to be tell them, no, you can't do that. You can't wear that. You can't go there. No, that's not going to work for me. And so they're not going to like you, and that's okay. It's okay, because your job at that point in their lives is to parent them, to direct them, to protect them, to guide them. And so I say to parents, fathers, as we celebrate fatherhood, as this pastor said to me, I decided to make a decision that I would rather be a great parent, father, than known as a great businessman. He gave one example. He said, so profound. I thought it was great. He said that King David, we know about it in the Bible. King David was a great leader, horrible father, and his children didn't love him, respect him. And so what we learn from that is we have to make a decision what's our priorities. And our priority should be as parents that our number one is to raise those children in the admonition of the Lord and to instill in them that the principles and the values, so that when there is time that they go out, and they will be successful. And so you'll have some setbacks in it, but all worth the effort. So I'm grateful now. I got 2 grown children, 2 grandchildren, and we're all friends. And that's a good thing. Praise the Lord. And they're doing well.
Well, that's great. You said something I think, Willie, that's really important, that as parents, we don't really need to raise friends. We don't need to make our children our friends. But one thing I think we really need to do is we really need to show and share love with them. Because when they know that we love them, they're going to grow, like you said, in the admonition of the Lord, and then you're going to get everything else that you need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got to love them. Sometimes the love has got to be a little tough. It got to be a little tough love. Know that there's some direction, some confines. I have a dear friend who called me recently. She's not a disciplinarian. Okay, she and her husband broke up, and he was the disciplinarian, and she has a child now who is a teenage. I think the child is 15 years old, and the child is just gone buck wild. And so she called me and said, "Can she and your grandkids? They live in the same area. Your grandkids come to visit you. She come with you because she needs some direction." And I said, "Sure, send her." But I also said, you gotta make a decision that you're going to parent. I'm only going to have her for a couple weeks or so, and she's welcome to come. But what happens when she comes back home? And you know what? That's a decision we have to make. A decision that we're going to parent them, and sometimes that means they're not going to like us. They're going to be mad at us. They're going to talk about us, but it's okay, because at the end of the day, respect comes from love. Love, knowing that you're loved, you're cared for, and that love has boundaries, in the sense of you can't go past it. That's not good. That's not safe for you. You know, the parents who really love their children don't let them run in the street. They don't let them do things that would harm them, even though they think the kids might think they're able. You know, young people think that they're invincible, immortal, that they can never get hurt. They can do anything and it will not hurt them. But parents say, "No, I've been down that path. That's not a good choice. That won't serve you well." So absolutely. So these are some of the things that I found that over the years that in parenting, and I'm encouraging. Now, here's the things I want to encourage the parents who listen, in particular the fathers, that you encourage your children. You encourage. You know, one of the things that's important that many times we have to let our children know that there's greatness inside of them, and we have to do it even before they know it. And so I've always made a point to encourage my children. And when they were trying to sing, I would never laugh. I would never. I'd always say, "You do it." I encourage them and never make fun of it, because even though it sounds like a joke when they try to dance, I never make fun of that, because that is. They'll laugh it off, but deep down they don't believe that they have the capacity. So I always encourage. Next thing I am doing is I embrace them. I embrace them, and I embrace them. And I love you, and I'm encouraging. I'm going to keep on loving them through it. And so I want to encourage you, to parents wherever you are, fathers, to encourage your children, stand with them, hold them, love them, inspire them, talk to them. And then here's another one. Listen. Listen to them. Listen to what they have to say. Sometimes we talk, and then we don't listen. So it had to be a two-way street. I love one of my friends. He said, "You must be in your child's ear from the time they wake up to the time they wake up." I love that. You got to be in their child's ear from the time they wake up to the time they wake up. Lord have mercy. But then also you got to listen. Sometimes you want to get what they're thinking, what their thoughts are, what's the process in their mind. So lots of ideas. How do we, handle the hijacking? You're going to have that sometimes come. We're going to have some setbacks. I encourage all y'all to go get my book, Setback Setup for a Comeback, that will give you strategies on how to get through those challenging moments. And then what do? You have to take every moment. It only takes a minute to change your life. The minute you make a decision and stay tuned and stay focused and stay true and stay on that decision, that's the minute you change your life. And that's children change their life. And I encourage you to teach them. See, when you learn something new, you change your life. And when you share something new with somebody else, you change their life. But then when you teach your children and tell them to teach their friends and teach their friends the lessons and the values, you change the world.
Wow, that's great. Teach your friends, teach your children to teach their friends. Change the world. I think that's great. We really want to just, once again, Willie, thank you for being on this call today. And back to Cynthia.
Can we call you Dr. J, or is that a copywritten name? You know,
I will take that. I appreciate it. I'll take whatever way you got it. That sounds good to me.
Young folks listening to this maybe don't know who Dr. J is, but that was the real MBA, Dr. J. But thank you so much for talking about encouraging our children, embracing them, listening to them, and all these things that just go together with fatherhood. And see, I listened to two men who are wise fathers and didn't even interrupt.
Amen. God bless you. God bless you. You know, you just encourage us dads to try and do the best work we can do. That's why we are blessed, because we got these great women who have blessed us. I'm way over married. Ken, you know you did too. We both in the count. I'm president, you're the vice president of the Over Married Club. And yet we are grateful for the wives who have let us father and let us do what we need to do from a godly standpoint. I want to encourage everybody real quick that I know a lot of parents really do struggle with this parenting process, and they struggle with their children. We have found that we have so many people who come up at the end of my speeches all over the world. This is not just an American issue, but literally in Australia, number one place for suicides in the world is Australia. I have parents who struggle. They've raised them, put them in good schools, put them in church, put them in Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and they struggle with this parenting process. And what we have found is that the inputs determine outputs, and sometimes you need help from some other resources. So we want to encourage you to get my youth video. My youth video is our number one selling product, has been for a number of years. It's Dare to Dream, Dare to Win, the number one selling youth PBS special in America, and it helps you to get some positive mindset into these young people. Because we had a time where our young people are being influenced ways we don't even know. I was just watching on television just recently about something called the Skinny Man or the Silky Man or something. This guy who is goes around killing people online. It's a YouTube thing, and these two girls that they wanted to show that they were worthy of his group. So they stamped one of their classmates and left her for dead in a forest. And when they asked them why you did it, they said, "We don't know. We don't know why we did it." And that's because they were watching this information online and places parents wouldn't even know, and it's influencing their decisions. We saw the same in Columbine. These boys didn't have a rap sheet. These boys didn't have any kind of background of being criminals, but they were being filled with a steady diet of negative. And actually, you got to get them on a different diet, a diet of the pure, the powerful, and the positive. So get the youth video. Get it on my website, WillieJolley.com. It's on Amazon. Just get this youth video by Willie Jolley and watch it with your children. It will inspire them, it will empower them, and it will give them a new mindset to stay away from drugs, stay away from negative people, stay away from violence, and pursue academic excellence.
Absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, you can go to WillieJolley.com, and that's WillieJolley.com. And in his success story, you will find all kinds of motivational tools to grow your future and your finances. You will see some very impressive things there that will hopefully help encourage you to be a better parent, a better mother, a better father. Just all over the world, people have these issues. And it's funny you mentioned that, Dr. Jolley, as we wrap up. Dr. J, I like that.
I like that.
It's the bottom line is that we mentioned that just last week, that incident in Wisconsin with those two girls. We have to find that somebody's going to parent our kids. Yeah. So it may as well be the folks that's paying the bills for the kids.
Right. That's right. Now, I got one more thing I got to say. And this is my personal, and this is going to rock your boat. I'm already telling you, and some people are not going to like this, but this is what I'm going to be putting out to the world. And I thought about it this morning. I have thoughts of the day, and if people can go to my website or follow me on Twitter, get my thought of the day. Sometimes the thoughts are good. Sometimes they'll like them. Sometimes they might not. These are my thoughts. And one of my thoughts is, when we look back at history, and when y'all probably were in school, I know when I was in school, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and even 80s, you never heard of anybody taking guns into schools.
Amen.
All right, never heard it. You heard the worst you'd ever hear somebody smoking in the bathroom. That was the worst offense you'd ever hear. Or somebody playing hooky from school. But you never heard anybody killing anybody, shooting anybody. You didn't hear these people taking guns. You didn't have a school system that you had to have locked down. You didn't have bars. You didn't have metal detectors. You just had kids coming to school to get educated. And we are in a time now where we become so politically correct that we have taken away the things that worked from past generations. And when I was growing up, I never forget when I was a little boy, my mom dropped my brother off and I off at our uncle and aunt down in Virginia. He had a country store. And one day, he would always give us candy and bubblegum. But one day he was busy. We went to the country store and said, hey, his name was Uncle Willie. They named me after him. And they said, Uncle Willie, could we have some bubblegum? He said, I'm busy, boys. Come back later. I can't do it. But we wanted that bubblegum right now. So we snuck around the back of the counter. but he was busy working on somebody else. And we took some bubble gum. We stole some bubble gum. Well, that evening, my aunt, his wife, who was like the detective, the best detective I've ever met, she said, we came in and she said, "Hey boys, how you doing?" "We're doing good. We chomping on bubble gum." I said, "Oh, you're enjoying that bubble gum? Where'd you get that bubble gum?" "Ooh, we got it from the store." "How'd you get it?" "Uncle Willie gave it to us." Now we lying on top of stealing. Now we stealing and lying. And she said, "Oh, really?" And then she said, she called my uncle. She said, "Did you get the boys some bubble gum?" He said, "No, I told them they'd have to come back later, so I didn't give them." So how'd y'all get that bubble gum? And finally we had to say, "We took it." "Oh, so you stole it. Okay. And then you lied to me about stealing it." "Okay." Well, and my mom was there. So when my uncle got home that evening, he gave us a spanking. Okay. But then when Mama came to pick us up a few days later, she gave us a spanking. And then my mama took us back home, and when I got home, my dad gave us a spanking. And then when we went to visit my grandmother 2 weeks later in Philadelphia, she gave us a spanking. And I say that to say, since that day to this day, I had never touched anything that wasn't mine.
The domino whooping.
I have never touched anything that was not mine from that day to this. And I say we have got to a point where we need some folks who are willing to discipline child. And then my dad took a belt to school. And he had in the front of the class, first day of school, he said to my teacher, "If he gets out of line, I want you to take this belt, bring him up front, and whip his behind in front of everybody." And she never had an issue out of me. And so what I recommend that we got to do is we got some kids under 18 who are not being parented, who just doing whatever they want to do, robbing, stealing, killing, beating up old folks, doing all. We need to take them on the city steps and take a paddle and whip their behind in front of everybody one time. You won't have no more problem about it. Rather than throwing them into juvenile justice system, putting them in a reform school, they say, and then just letting them sit there and learn how to be better criminals. We need to extract some good discipline one time in a public setting. But it's not the pain of the paddle that's going to hurt the most. It's the embarrassment.
There you go.
You won't have to do it. I was embarrassed. And they didn't have to worry about me ever taking anything else. So that's my last thing I got to say. Y'all, look, I know I got some wild thoughts, but I'm telling you folks, I want to see some young winners and some young champions. And so here's what I'm saying, and I believe with it. Anybody, y'all got a different perspective, follow me on Twitter. Send me a note. Send me an email, info@williejolly.com. Go to my website, williejolly.com, and go to my new ministry website. I'm so excited about it. Jolley-ReedNuAttitude.org.
Hello.
Jolley-ReedNuAttitude.org. So I want everybody to go there and get blessed. We got some good stuff. Me at the Hour of Power, speaking for the Hour of Power at Crystal Cathedral a couple times last year, and different messages at churches, as well as some of our motivational messages.
Wow.
Y'all didn't know y'all was going to get all of this. I'm sorry. I got fired up. Y'all done got on a subject I like. Tyranny.
I gotta put you up for some kind of retreat now that your kids are grown, you know.
What was that you said from the beginning? But it only takes a minute.
It only takes a minute. That's right.
Who said, Mama, that everybody who spanked you for stealing that bubble gum took longer than a minute.
That's right. But they got a result that was worked. They got a worked result.
Wow. What was that, ladies and gentlemen? You have just heard show number 175 with Dr. Willie Jolley. Thank you. What a great morning it's been here on June the, what day is it? The 4 spankings in a row, 5, I lost count. But it's June the 11th, 2014. We are so glad that you joined us today for another version of Read New Attitude Action Now. We apply concrete thoughts to ignite and inspire your optimism. No opportunity wasted. Again, you heard Dr. Willie Jolley from the wonderful District of Washington, D.C. We like to call it Chocolate City. And if you have any questions about anything you've heard on this show, you might want to do a playback at 712-432-1085. And the PIN number is 802-089#. Be sure to share this on Twitter. We are Read New Attitude on Twitter at NUATTITUDE. And, of course, on Facebook, our fan page is Read New Attitude Show. And then you can also go to find the archive at betterthandonuts.com. Click Read New Attitude Show Archive. And we hope you have a marvelous day. And we're actually going to take you out with one of Dr. J's songs. Only takes a minute to change your life. Thank you again, Dr. Willie Jolley.
God bless you. Have a great day. Thank y'all both.
Thank you.